Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an excellent game to share with you from round 8 of the 2025 Superbet Chess Classic Romania. This was played just today. On the white end, Wesley So, playing against Praggnanandhaa. Okay, the opening we work with is a Benko Gambit, accepted. And after a6, we see the modern approach, e6, a takes b, bishop recaptures, queen a4 check. Only move is to block on c3 and defend the bishop. Pressure now, increased pressure on d5. There's only one defender here, two attackers. The knight powerless because of the pin. That pin broken. This pawn is now poisoned. Keep in mind, knight takes pawn, knight takes, issue with the queen. Queen vulnerable on this diagonal. Hops to b6. This is now up for grabs. Two attackers, only one defender in this case. Queen masked now with the bishop on d2. White gives this pawn back at this stage. Plays knight f3. If white tries to hang on to d5 with, let's say, e4 or bishop c4, I want to touch on each of these briefly. In the case of e4, this knight would be overloaded. Would have two jobs here to defend these points, and there would be a trick. Knight takes e4, knight takes e4, queen captures bishop. And in the case of bishop c4, there's e6. This pawn is pinned. There's an issue here. Pawn is pinned to g2. g2 falls, the rook is going to fall. If you capture here, bishop takes, chop on f7, king d8, black is for choice. Anything else, at this point, if white tries e4, there's a trick with knight takes e4, and a follow-up fork. One final note, I had a look at this strange-looking move, bishop c1 to defend the pawn and secure d5 for a third time. In this case, top would be queen b4. Targeting the bishop, pinning the knight, and d5 will soon collapse. Okay. The approach here by white after queen b6 is to keep developing. Knight f3 it is. Black regains the material. There's now a threat. Knight captures knight, and then queen captures bishop. Some support for the bishop. Passed pawn starts to roll. Okay, from here e6. White at this stage plays this as a gambit. You could castle here, but gambit style now for team white. He goes with e4. Knight takes knight, bishop captures knight, the e pawn swiped. Black is up a pawn. But as compensation, this piece here, very strong. Pressure here on g7, not so easy to complete kingside development. Follow up knight e5. Pressure now increased on d7. There are 3 attackers and only 2 defenders. You have to do something about this. Pop quiz. How would you respond here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, in the game, nearly a half hour was spent here. Queen b7 played. That is best. Now, if you try to defend in a different way with the rook, it's going to turn out that the queen on b6 ends up misplaced. We'll see why queen b7 is best shortly. More than one purpose playing there to b7. If you go with just the rook, a good follow-up here is queen h5. And what are you doing now as black about this threat on f7? Playing g6 is way too weakening. Queen can target the bishop. The knight is ready to move. The bishop will be unleashed there on the rook. That will be a disaster. And also, if you try bishop g6, the knight can capture the bishop. You're not in a spot to recapture towards the center. You'd have to take like this. This position here is excellent for white. The queen is not well positioned. Bishop, very strong piece. Again, how are you completing development here with the pressure on g7? Tough game ahead here for black. This is not the way to defend d7. So the way to defend d7, the move in the game here, queen b7, not only defensive this point, she eyes the bishop, or eyes that e4 square is maybe the better way to say it. Follow up from here, queen h5. The response now, bishop g6 to defend f7. And after knight captures knight, we're not recapturing. Definitely not taking towards the center because of the pin. Pawn not recapturing. Instead, queen e4 check is first inserted. The queen assumes a very strong post. This is more, I mean, you're aggressive here with the check, but this is also, could be viewed as a defensive move. Defense against the white queen, taking up a strong central post. She's covering a lot of the squares the white queen may want to go to. After the king moves, now we recapture here on g6. From here, queen h3, queen f5, offering a queen exchange. Computer says, go ahead and continue to develop. All right, offering a queen exchange on a square where if you're capturing, the pawns are being straightened out. Okay, that's not going to happen. Queen g3 here. Computer says even better is queen e3, but white has in mind this square right here, trying to be disruptive to the black pieces here on the queen side. There is a lack of development for sure. Follow up, knight c6, queen c7, queen d5. Very active post. This is really the, I would say, the star piece of the game. She's stable here on d5, defending now the threat on c6. From here, bishop captures knight, pawn recaptures, and now h4. This will be white's way to complete development. A rook lift, rook h3, f3, patrolling that third rank, also an h5 pawn break in the air. From here, it's bishop to e7, and rook h3 is the follow-up. Now, if white tries to swipe this pawn here on g7, black has a trick. So if bishop captures g7, available to black here would be rook captures a4. The rook is poisoned because we would have mate. This queen, very strong here on this center post. In the game, after bishop e7, it's rook h3, rook f8, no kingside castles for black, and queenside is looking pretty unlikely. Follow up from here, queen e5, bishop f6, and the queen falls back to e3. Notice how white is, or excuse me, black is operating on these squares here, f6 and d5. These tend to be very good outpost squares. If ever there's the capture, the pawns are going to be recapturing and they'll be straightened out. So just to exaggerate this point here, after bishop f6, this would be a welcome sight here for black. There you go. Everything's straightened out. Things are cool. Not happening at this level. The queen falls back to e2. Follow up from here, bishop d4. By this point, black is clearly for choice. A very strong bishop post. Issue now on f2. Bishop is too strong. It's removed here. In the process, the pawns are straightened out. The piece was just too good. Now there's a passer that white has to be careful about. Follow up from here, h5, rook f6, king g1, king f7, capture on g6, rook recapture. There's a mate threat on g7. Now at this point, players have about 6 minutes each, so they're in some form of time pressure. White goes wrong at this stage. The move played is g3. The computer points out best is to insert the check, and then start running with your pawns, something like this. Yeah, it still likes black here, but all right, rook f3, not found at this stage. We have g3 to parry the mate threat on g2. The issue with this, the rook is now completely out of play and no longer around to hold up this wild passed d pawn, which immediately runs. It's cut off from defending its advance. And this is just going to be decisive at this stage. Queen d2, maybe a check here, forget about it. That's cut out. Also, there's a threat here on a4. The pawn runs. Rook e4. We're just looking to remove the blockader and push the pawn. From here, rook takes h. I'd say an insignificant pawn. King g8. Now, if you're just tuning in right now, you may think, okay, we saw a same sides castles game. No, more like a no sides castles game here. Rook is maintained. Blockading piece removed. Advances the pawn. Threat here, d1 promotion. You have to blockade. The majors do not like playing the part of blockader. So, tough road ahead here for white. There's just no defense. f2 is ready to collapse. Rook h2 is there to defend, but the rook is in the way of the king. This sets up some issues here for white on the back rank. King doesn't have h2 as a flight square. g2 is not available as a flight square. Queen improves just a hair nearby. Rook e1 with check. The try here is with rook f1. Now comes rook f3. Look at these major pieces. Very active posts. Where is the queen supposed to go now? She can't move and stay trained on d2. She can't keep pressure on d2. The only square for the queen is c5, moving the game. No longer any pressure on d2. This rook can go elsewhere. Rook e1 it is. And at this point, white resigns. There's no defense against this. The rook is going to be captured. We're going to have a promotion shortly. Could also consider rook captures, king captures, queen check, and then promotion. This one here is over. So interesting game here with this Benko Gambit. What are your thoughts with this one? Feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.